Welcome to Money Making Conversation. I'm your host, Rashawn McDonald. I recognize that we all have different definitions of success. For some, it's a sizable paycheck. Mine is helping people wake up and inspiring them to accomplish their goals and live their very best life. These are my passions, and that's what I'm going to do for you. I want you to stop tripping over small challenges and prepare to rise above the bigger obstacles that life will present to you. The Money Making Conversation interviews provide relatable information to the listener about career and financial planning, entrepreneurship, motivation, leadership, overcoming the odds, and how to live a balanced life. My next guest landed at number 7 on the top 10 most played urban AC artists for 2019, ranking as the number 1 male independent urban AC artist of the year, according to Mediabase. While today's social climate has now begun to influence some to get involved with promoting change, his charity work has been serving as an instrument of hope and empowerment since 2014. He founded the LoveLife Foundation, a foundation that focuses on improving lives through social, educational, and wellness development within as well as outside of Love Life. Raheem believes in fight for causes dealing with issues related to women's rights, domestic violence, HIV, AIDS awareness, among others. He is both a talented artist as well as an inspiration to people across the globe. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation, my man, Raheem DeVaughn.
Peace, peace.
Did I get it right, Raheem? Did I get it right for you?
You did. One-stop shop. Yeah.
Well, you know, the beautiful part about you, right now, what city are you in right now during the pandemic? What city are you in?
I'm in the DMV area, DC, Maryland area. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a fan of what you are, what you represent. I've always been a believer in what you do on that stage. Let's start on that stage first, man.
Yeah.
Because your live performances, man, keep you in the chair watching, going, he hitting every note, and then put you on the store grooving to the beat. The significance of the live performance. Talk to us about that, man, because that has always, to me, been a signature of Raheem.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that, regardless of who the manager is at the time, what label you on, how successful or on the rise you are, that connection that you make as a live performer with the audience is just something that it's a special experience. It's a spiritual thing. It's a connection. That if you successfully make it and you connect with that individual or those group of individuals, they become fans. They become, supporters of your movement. Right. Hopefully,
Followers.
Yeah, exactly. And coming from an independent background and grassroots background, that was something early that I just connected with and understood that, if you're going to be, if you're pursuing this, then this is something that this is the area where you need to really horn in on. Making records, that's cool. You can go find records. You can go create the records. You can go create the marketing. You can go create these things. But that connection, again, that you make with the audience is a direct thing. I've always been that guy who was doing the meet and greets and stuff, So in terms of my background and starting out, how I started out in the U Street area, Northwest DC, and doing the open mics, I learned early. I realized that I needed to have a tangible item that that the ladies and the fellas could take home with them. You know what I mean? And something they could play. Hey, I like that tune. Where can I get it? This is before the digital age. Being able to just kind of pull it up on your phone or uploading it to a digital platform where they can then absorb it. So I that just became part of my quote unquote hustle. It just became law that, hey, whether it's one person in a room or you got 50,000 people in an arena, that everybody deserves the same show. Everybody deserves the same energy, and it's just the connection, man. It's kind of, for me, it's really become second nature thing.
Right.
But I try not to never take it for granted, though, at the same time, if that makes sense.
Well, I never felt that way in knowing you. I used to run you whenever Steve Harvey and I was ever in DC. I couldn't get you on the air enough. Come on, man, sit in there with us, man.
For sure.
Because I was just a firm believer of you. But you I made note of your incredible live performance skills. I'm speaking to Raheem DeVaughn, out of the DC area, but a global talent, singer, performer, poet, I like to believe. The pandemic hit, comedic friends of mine couldn't tour. Musical friends of mine couldn't tour because you make your money performing live. And how did it affect you and then your bandmates? How's that situation played out when it first shut down the country and playing out now?
I'll be honest with you, like I kind of, we've always heard the whispers of these times, the times that we live in, whether it's from a biblical standpoint or just a common sense standpoint. So for me personally, I hit the ground running. I've always been, I've been an independent artist for over 10 years now. I make it look easy, if it's a situation where I've had to spend my last to kind of flip or to make it work, it's pretty much like from conception, like the music to what happens on stage, and having a very small team of individuals that I trust that can help me bring my vision to light. Of course, but when this happened, I started kind of educating myself on, okay, well, what are the digital platforms? The first thing I had to ask myself was how unprepared am I for this moment right now? Meaning, like, if I couldn't leave this house, do I got my studio set up? Do I got my DSL line? Do I have the best technology that the internet service provider can provide? So I kind of like jumped into that arena, and and I quickly realized, like, hey, you need to upgrade some things. You've been too dependent on certain things,
right?
And so I really dug into that. I mean, of course, like definitely taking a huge financial hit on the shows and the concerts, and the touring and stuff of that nature. But I just really remain organic and creating activities for myself. The Love King quarantine, I call it. And definitely for that first 8 weeks, like, I mean, I put myself on a schedule and a regimen and just, and really connected with the fans, around taking care of the day-to-day things that, dealing with the fam and the adjustment of it all. And it kind of gave me something to, and even now it gives me something to look forward to, and because you got to keep that audience going. You got to keep, you got to keep the connection going. It is a job, as much as I love what I do, and you have to maintain, you create this brand, and then out the blue, they tell you can't step on stages anymore. Just the list of things that we kind of restricted and constricted to doing. So I had to be, creative. I think that's where the hustler comes in. Right. The ambition of, and the curiosity, it's a trying time, but I try to find a good in everything,
Absolutely. And, now, you had all these programs, the program protection payroll protection program. Did that benefit? Was any of that stuff an asset or available to an independent artist like you who had a traveling band and made you're living via live, and all of a sudden America said shut down? Was any of those?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, being transparent, I got some issues that I'm sorting out with, of course, IRS, but it's definitely, it's been beneficial.
Yes.
But I also try to make sure that it's not something that I make myself like rely,
no. But my friend, look, the country shut down. Okay.
Yeah.
I told all my comedic friends, if they got a $600 a week check, go get it. Okay.
You gotta go get it. Yeah.
You gotta go get it.
Absolutely.
You gotta go get it. They're making it available to you. I applied for the payroll protection program. Okay.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The second quarter wasn't no income coming. They cut down advertising, media sales, and everything. You couldn't do live events. You couldn't even advertise because there wasn't no advertisers to advertise. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, about that? Essence shut down. A lot of major events were shut down.
Major things. Yeah.
And second and early third, and so now we're looking at the 2021 as a possibility. And then you hear about the footballs, Pac-5, and the Power 5 talking about they may shift all their games to the spring. So it's so much uncertainty. And then, but then you still have to be Raheem. You still have to be the poet. You still have to, stand forward and stand straight and be a leader during these pandemic times. And when I say that, this has been an amazing year as far as incredible deaths. I consider the sudden death of Kobe Bryant to be, world shattering. And then the basic murder of George Floyd in front of the nation's eyes in 8 minutes, a little bit over 8 minutes. How has that affected you as a musical artist, as a family man, a leader in this country, and being a man of color?
It's affected me tremendously. I mean, the good in it is that my way my mind works and the way I'm wired, like it's every day I wake up trying to think, and of course being thankful, and I say, what a time to be alive, what a time to be in love, and when I say that, it's kind of like, what a time to be in love with the things that you love, whether that's from a spiritual aspect, still being in tune with your art. I heard some artists like in interviews or like saying like flat out, like they can't even create right now.
Right.
It's been the total opposite. You know what I mean? Like, I got records coming out. My new single, which Marvin used to say, is older Marvin Gaye, is speaking about everything that I've seen, in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we see now, it's a lot going on. Just in my city, in DC, this past Saturday, they had a drive-by where almost 30 people were shot. There's people dying like daily, like, you know what I mean? Just on top of everything else going on in the middle of a pandemic, understanding where the economy is, it's kind of like, it's like, wow, these are the things that Marvin talked about, and it's
amazing.
And
mother, there's far too many of you dying, and it's deep because, I'm one of those people that feel like history repeats itself. And it's really repeating itself right before our eyes. And so, you said you're single. Is it out now, Raheem? Or
it actually drops on the 28th of this month.
Okay. Now let's slow down now. You got to come to me now.
Let's get it.
Okay, now
let's get it.
Our social media goes out. I got 1 million social media followers. I'll drop it on Friday.
Wow. Okay.
Friday PM. And then I put it in my newsletter that goes out on Wednesday to 93,000 followers.
That sounds good. That sounds really good.
So that's what independents got to do. Good. Independents got to stay with the relationships that believe in them. Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is a reconnect, you and I. Okay.
No doubt.
Because
no doubt.
I love Mr. Raheem. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's love.
So let's talk about that single. You mentioned Marvin Gaye. You mentioned that Mercy. What's going on?
Yeah.
Those songs resonate today. That was about the Vietnam War that they talk about. They still talk about injustice in the streets. All that period. You had John Carlos and Tommy Smith. Just seeing now these marches and then, like you're talking about, then these out of control levels of violence are just not just in Chicago, but happening all over this country. And guess who's becoming the victim? African Americans.
Yeah, definitely.
When you sit down, Raheem, what comes out of you? What is the direction of what message are you trying to say in your music now?
Man, of course, like with the Marvin Used to Say record just coming, it's more old to, speaking on, whether you're talking about COVID-19, you talk about the climate of, where it is to be a black man in this country after, and women, the things that we've accomplished, on this planet in a very short amount of time, that I've been here, that we've been here, and to still see how prevalent and detrimental white supremacy is, and also a social class of supremacy. You know what I mean? Because, like the minister says, Farrakhan said, in previous times that he's spoken, is that, like, all black folks ain't good, all white folks ain't bad.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So it's like when you really pinpoint it, and I just kind of feel like the world is in a place where it boils down, you just have two sets of people. You got people that are loving. You got people that are caring, that want to see change, and across the gamut, and do their part. And then you have people that absolutely give zero. As I don't want to use profanity on your show, but they really give 0% concern to the things that are going on.
And that's very, very true. And when you say that, so we're talking about in 2014, the LoveLife Foundation. That's when it started, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I had been called on to do a number of different things, primarily in the domestic violence sector in the past, feeding the homeless, any number of things that affect us as people of Black and brown color, first and foremost in the inner cities. And I decided around 14 to start my foundation, the LoveLife Foundation. Some of our most recent work, when COVID broke out, I had an opportunity to even being of service to first responders, the nurses and the doctors, providing home cooked meals for them.
Wow.
As they worked around the clock to fight COVID. So that was one of the campaigns that we did over the first 9 weeks. Then of course when after the murder of the brother and the uprisings that were taking place, we had to kind of slow down on that because in certain places it just wasn't safe. And what was dope, we had women like on the front line. They were cooking the food, delivering it, risking their life to deliver it to the hospitals. Want to give a big shout out to Alma's Catering and some of our other partners with the LoveLife Foundation here in the city. But if it's Baltimore, DC, Virginia, we over the last 10 weeks we've serviced any number of like first responders, nurses, doctors, people at the testing sites. As well as those that are displaced right now, because we're doing food banks most recently, as well. Trying to just provide fresh fruits and vegetables for local families and stuff here with some of the farmers and partnering with them.
Wow.
So
Black farmers, or just local farmers in general? Just local
farmers that want to lend a hand.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to COVID, there was a school I adopted in Southeast where we have a program along with Martha's Table, my foundation and a few other organizations on the ground where we provide fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as we have chefs come in and show them how to make the smoothies and just healthy options, alternatives for the youth and for the families. I go to the school once a month, when I'm in town, and you get on a first name basis with the kids there, in Southeast, and it's a really cool experience. That things like that I miss. You know what I mean? Because of course, schools are shut down. Even going back into the fall.
And that's the sad part about it, because we know when I hear about online education, and who that's going to affect. It's going to be people of color, because
it's going to hit us. It's going to hit us hard, man.
We don't have the Wi-Fi. We don't have the laptops or the tablets to be able. Even if we do have it, we don't have the parental structure. Or because our parents are probably going to be working, or their parents are probably going to be working during the day, so they don't have them, or they come home fatigue. It's just not a winning situation that we have to stay on top of, and things like that. So when I hear you talk about your LoveLife Foundation, I have to go, man, this is awesome. What could I do to help? Are you guys taking donations, or what's going on there, Raheem?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We're constantly taking donations. And like I said, with the donations, we do a number of things. The textbook scholarship fund, which we assist students and have been assisting students for the last 6 years with paying for their books and supplies for the first year of college. I'm heavily involved in fighting domestic violence. I'm heavily involved in, the fight against sex trafficking.
Let's stop there. Let's talk there for a minute, because that's kind of gets sex trafficking. Domestic violence makes the headline. The sex trafficking kind of gets brushed aside, because it's kind of like that bad word. We know it's happening, but we don't want to talk about it, because these are young girls who disappear. Yeah, young girls and young men. You know what I mean? Like, and it's quietly $1 billion business,
You know what I mean? Just no different than slavery or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it just kind of continues to happen and go under the radar. You know, and so we have to definitely, as you know, as individuals, as men, as black men, you know, we have to do a better job of protecting our women, our children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not only in this country but on the planet. Me personally, I feel like black women is the most disrespected on the planet.
Right.
Like, period.
Right.
You know, and you know, so I've always done my best to do my part. You know, lyrically on a record. You know, that's a conscious decision to make a record like Woman, you know, when everybody else is going against the grain and
right.
calling women all different kind of other things in their records, you know.
Which is really, really, really incredible. Now, I'm shifting gears because I'm going back to this song that you're dropping on August 28th. That's the date, August 28th. Now, are you going to, because I'm hearing all this community involvement. I'm hearing all this stuff. I'm sure you got pictures. I'm sure you got video. Is that going to be part of the video that's going to drop with it, or you got something else playing with that? Because right now, I see that, Raheem. You know, I'm like, get my hands on it. If you can't do it, just send me some photos, brother, so I can put something together for you.
Oh no, I definitely have some stuff on the way. The planning that's begun for that. Ironically, you know, the March on Washington is on the 28th.
Right,
so
I know.
So I've been on the fence about getting footage and then putting out the video, you know, in the weeks to follow, which I may go that route. Ironically, I had a photo shoot and some content stuff last night that I was doing because I'm also part of an initiative for Stop and Frisk and some laws that are being, you know, presented to Congress in a few weeks. And so I'm excited about that. So we kind of killed two birds with one stone and got the content and the PSAs for that. And then it turned into a photo shoot for the album, which is titled What a Time to Be in Love. And, you know, I'm wrapping up mixes and stuff like that. Just recorded a record called Lord Help Me, which is inspired by an old Donny Hathaway record that was titled the same. And it's kind of like, you know, just, I mean, like some of the lyrics where I say,
Lord help me sound like that March to me, brother.
Yeah.
August 20th, Lord help me. Come on now, Raheem.
I say, I seen babies gunned down by a drive-by. Another hashtag, seen another mama cry. It seems like ever since the birth of a nation, we've been treated lesser than and denied reparations. It makes me want to flip. They tamper with my vote, I call it politics. Disrespect our rights with a stop and frisk. And kill the black man at age 46. A sign of the times, the mark of the beast. But till there's justice, there'll be no peace. Oh Lord, Most High, help me. Oh Lord, Lord, Lord. There's lead in the water and polluted clouds, Lord, Lord. Recession and depression, unemployment's on the rise. But I feel your presence, so I'm staying faithful. Yeah. So that's like the vibe.
Woo!
You know?
Come on, boy. Come on. You best be out there.
It's like a conversation with. It's like a conversation with God. You know what I mean? Like because you got to have those right now. You know,
more importantly, the beauty, the genius of you. I'm gonna throw that into the conversation, because I've always been a big fan. I sit back and I know I'm talented. I look at other people, but I can never do you. I can never be Raheem. You know, I can never be this skilled guy who just lyrically just threw it out there. Just open your soul on this show and expose those raw nerves that drive you, that emote from your spirit, to say, you know, can bring us to tears because you're telling the truth. But then it's the business side. Now you got a new position as an AR director, correct? At the label.
Yeah, that's
Talk
correct.
about that. Let's close out on the business side, because this has been a nice journey, man. You know, I'm gonna tell you something, Raheem. We back in the saddle, man. Don't you let this be no another 10 years, brother. Man, you're gonna fight. We're gonna fight, brother. We're gonna fight.
Nah. I won't. I promise I won't. Okay. I'm excited that we connect with you. You know.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it's just crazy, man, because it's come full circle, and I think that's something that people got to understand in business, that things do come full circle, and it's like you got to remain humble. You got to take every experience as a learning experience, so that because it's preparing you for something. Now, ironically, in 2005, the first tour that I ever did was with New Edition, 30 cities, Brian McKnight, God bless his soul. Gerald Levert was on a few dates as well, and now I'm head of A&R at a label, which is SRGILS, out of based out of Connecticut. We're backed by Universal, and they took an interest in me just as an artist. It started out on that vibe, and it quickly kind of morphed organically into other things, me being ambitious and wanting to have artists and careers and, artists that I was involved in, whether it was from a managing standpoint or a mentorship standpoint. I've always had an interest in being like behind the scenes on the music scene with the intention of like preserving the culture for the type of music that I make and that I enjoy or that we enjoy. You know what I mean? And so I've always fought for that. And I figured, like, what better way to do that? Sometimes you can't just pour into yourself. The blessing just comes from actually, like, pouring into other people and being part of other projects and, having an opinion, So, they brought me on board. Shout out to my label mates, Brian McKnight, Ralph Tresvant. We just signed Ralph over there. He's got a new single out that's doing extremely well. We got Johnny Gill over there, who's on Ralph's new single. And it's crazy again, because when I talk about New Edition, like I said, these guys, being on tour with somebody for 30 cities, you become like family. They become like mentors. You learn a lot. Yvonne is over there as well. Vivian Green, Kwame. We got a lot of great music, coming out. Gino Vanelli is over there as well.
Wow.
So, somebody like him to have to be able to talk on, jump on the horn, or it's on any given day. We're on a chain text of messages where it's like, Vanelli, Ralph Tresvant, the owner of the label, CD.
Brian McKnight. I talked to him today. I talked to Brian today. So, this is all good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so dope, dope producers, Tim Kelly, so it's very surreal for me. It's a very new situation. I'm learning. It's about building this company up and knowing that, I have some long-term equity in it. And that, prayerfully we look back 10, 15 years from now and say, wow, I was part of something that was it was dope. I learned.
And
it's retirement.
There you go, my brother.
You got to think about retirement. You know
cool.
what I mean? So, and I never stopped making music, but it's just just a different mindset.
I appreciate you. I'm talking to the #1 male independent urban AC artist of the year in 2019, according to Mediabase, Raheem DeVaughn. My friend, August 28th. That's when the single drops. You got to get that stuff to me before then. And guess what?
On it, yeah.
This relationship, man, just got reunited, man. We about to make some history in the third and fourth quarter of 2020.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah, man.
Be safe now, Raheem.
I'm thankful.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Be
Love.
safe.
Yep. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
If you want to hear more Money Making Conversation interviews, please go to moneymakingconversation.com. I'm Rashad McDonald. I'm your host.